It's a fact. The first hydrogen highway along a TEN-T corridor is a reality, going from Sweden to the Netherlands. Also, electric vehicles powered by fuel cells are increasingly appearing at leading locations in Europe. The first chapter is already far behind us. Fuel cells are fed by hydrogen and deliver electricity to power the car. The perfect way. Create hydrogen with renewable energy. That means energy with no footprint. At all. The effect? Trips with no noise and zero emissions. Right there, where the car is driving and the intermittent energy is fabricated. What's great is, these hydrogen-powered electric cars offer the same range, power and refueling convenience as conventional combustion cars. So why doesn't everybody have one? First of all, there aren't many models on the road yet. This will change soon, as the main car manufacturers are investing heavily in this market. Secondly, the infrastructure has to be developed. And that's where the EU co-funded project Hydrogen Infrastructure for Transport, or HIT, comes into play. So, without a refueling station, no cars, right? To operate any vehicle, a sufficient infrastructure is needed. A synchronized implementation plan has been built on the basis of the first national implementation plans of affiliated HIT countries. For example, they consider production and distribution infrastructure and all sorts of hydrogen vehicles in their local markets. This allows the circulation of the first fleets of hydrogen-powered motor vehicles. All of them, not just the passenger vehicles. These plans are now linking local hydrogen production and existing hydrogen networks to future hydrogen refueling stations and markets for hydrogen vehicles, so we can refuel our H2 vehicles. That's great, but how does it work? As the deployment of this infrastructure has different starting points in each country, as you can imagine, the HIT project set out to secure the harmonisation of their rollout, while addressing two key questions. How can local hydrogen hotspots be turned into local markets with sufficient users and vehicles? And how can the local hydrogen refueling stations, or HRS, be integrated into the context of internationally important road corridors? Let's get back to the facts again. In brief, along one of the main corridors of the EU Trans-European Transport Network programme, TEN-T, the first hydrogen highway is now in effect. The infrastructure is working. Other countries can now learn from and follow these paths. Now, what lessons can we learn from the national implementation plans of these first 4 HIT countries? What ways are there to approach this massive challenge? Denmark has focused on the expected growth of passenger fuel cell electric vehicles between 2013 and 2030. Using this as a basis, a map was created of the country's expected heavy use corridors. The first stations are located within these hotspots. France is looking to engage captive fleets, such as those of the Post Office, to stimulate the building of the first phase of the refueling networks, linked to the first hydrogen hubs in their urban centres. Together with a government study on fossil-free transport in 2030, Sweden engaged key regions to develop a local hydrogen scenario and a scenario based on distance. The Netherlands have looked at the ambition of fuel cell car manufacturers and their links to neighbouring countries. It is stimulating the development of hydrogen buses for public transportation, making them the first customers refuelling with the hydrogen kilos. The HIT Synchronizing Implementation Plan, or SIP, integrates the results of these national plans and the lessons learned from other national initiatives. This is a blueprint for EU member states deciding to include hydrogen refueling points in their national policy frameworks. This is part of the obligation to the EU deployment of the Alternative Fuels Infrastructure Directive. The SIP provides key points for action to policymakers regarding the build-up of hydrogen refueling infrastructures. It also provides a view on developing a coherent European network that can facilitate a rapid and efficient rollout of fuel cell electric vehicles in the EU. This is just the first of many hydrogen highways to come into effect. The second hydrogen highway is already planned and ready to go, crossing even more countries than HIT. Hydrogen isn't just starting, it's already a reality.